The perfect pumpkin pie. The perfect pumpkin pie.
One Halloween night, wind stirred the leaves in the pumpkin patch outside old Wilkerson's house. Inside the house, old man Wilkerson sat waiting.
"Hurry up," he grumbled.
Mrs. Wilkerson took a pie out of the oven and set it down on the table.
"About time," he said.
"Oh," said the old man. He stared at the pie with his one good eye. It was a perfect pie, round and brown as toast.
He said, "I does love a pumpkin pie."
Mrs. Wilkerson cut a slice of the pie and put it on the small plate. She held the steamy pie under Mr. Wilkerson's nose. "After we pass on," she said, in her sweetest voice, "there will be no more pie."
"Ha!" shouted the old man, grabbing the plate. "Then I ain't going."
He stabbed the pie with his fork, but just as he raised it to his mouth, he froze. "Ah!" He gasped and died.
How did he die?
No.
Probably was old because probably died out of age because people can.
That same night, by the light of the Halloween moon, Mrs. Wilkerson buried Mr. Wilkerson in the pumpkin patch. The next day she put the house up for sale and moved away. She was never heard from again. Of course, no one ever heard from Mr. Wilkerson again either. He was, after all, dead.
Or was he? I say, or was he?
One Halloween night, a few months after Jack and his grandmother had moved into the old Wilkerson house, something rose out of the pumpkin patch. "There," said Jack. "See it?" Grandma looked out the window. "Just a wisp of fog," she said. "It looks like a ghost," said Jack. "Now it's in the apple orchard." Grandma took the pie off the windowsill and closed the window. I think everyone needs a good pumpkin pie," she said. You can't turn the page because I can't see. "It's coming this way," cried Jack. "Listen." The porch steps creaked and the screen door banged, and an icy wind filled the kitchen. "It is a ghost," Jack gasped.
"Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkin pie. I must have one before I die. It must be round and brown as toast, or I'll haunt this house. A hungry ghost. It must be perfect, or a ghost I'll stay and haunt this house and never, ever go away."
Grandma put her hands on her hips. "Oh, stop all that moaning," she said to the ghost. "Sit down and have some pie." The ghost pointed at the pie.
"That pie ain't perfect. It looks like paper mache. This pie's insulting to a pie gourmet. Why, if I was alive, I'd have a pie degree. I'd be the professor of pie with a PhP.
What's that?
PHP.
I knows me pumpkin, so you'd better comply and make me a perfect pumpkin pie."
The ghost whirled and twirled through the kitchen. Pots fell from the cupboards. Dishes crashed to the floor. The screen door banged and the ghost vanished.
Look.
Oh, don't turn the page. I'm not done yet. Don't turn the page. Don't turn the page. Thank you. Jack ran to the window. He's gone. He'll be back, said Grandma. Aren't you afraid? Said Jack. Why, said his grandmother, he's nothing but cold smoke. He's a ghostly fuss budget with an appetite for good pie. Well, he didn't like your pie, said Jack. Well, he better like the next one, said Grandma. We'll show the old fuddy-duddy what a perfect pie is all about. We'll make a fuddy-duddy pie, said Jack. We'll show him. When the pie was baked, Grandma took it out of the oven and set it on the windowsill. Look at that pie, she said. It's round and brown as toast. Outside, a wisp of fog rose out of the pumpkin patch. He's back, said Jack. Listen.
Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkin pie. I must have one before I die. It must be round and brown as toast, or I'll haunt this house, a hungry ghost. It must be perfect, or a ghost I'll stay and haunt this house and never, ever go away.
The porch steps creaked, the screen door banged, and icy wind filled the kitchen. Don't you ever knock, said Grandma, cutting the pie. Sit down. He poked the pie.
He smelled the pie.
He tasted the pie.
He just shoved it in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
No! He moaned. This pie ain't perfect. There's things missing. Pay attention. Don't you listen. A pumpkin pie without whipped cream, it's enough. It's enough to make a dead man scream. This pie's bland, it's underdone. Next time, please, more cinnamon.
The ghost whirled and twirled. Through the kitchen, pots fell. From the cupboard, dishes crashed to the floor. The screen door banged and the ghost vanished. Grandma tasted the pie. But she said, it could use a tad more cinnamon. After Grandma and Jack cleaned the kitchen, they made another pie. When the pie was baked, Grandma took it out of the oven and set it on the windowsill. Soon a wisp of fog rose out of the pumpkin patch.
Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkin pie. I must have one before I die. It must be round and brown as toast, or I'll...
But yeah, said Grandma, opening the screen door. We've heard it all before. Sit down and have some pie.
Oh, okay.
The ghost sat down. He looked at Jack. He looked at Grandma. He looked at the pie, and his eye grew bigger than a ping-pong ball.
Now, that is a handsome pumpkin pie. Even I can see with my ghostly eye. But looks ain't all taste the measure. It's what's inside that counts, that's the pleasure. It's got to be perfect, a perfect endeavor, or ghost I'll stay and haunt you forever.
What the? How's he gonna haunt them forever?
They better make a darn good pie if he's sticking around. The ghost stabbed the pie with a fork. He raised the piece to his mouth and ate it. Then he ate another and another. Soon the pie was gone. His eye grew as big as a baseball. The eye looked at Jack. The eye looked at Grandma.
Perfect! He moaned and was vanished.
Jack and Grandma went to bed. Except for Grandma's snoring, the house was quiet. Outside, the apple orchard cast long black shadows in the light of the moon. The pumpkin patch was still. Mr. Wilkerson was quiet. He was, after all, dead. Really, really dead. Or was he? Uh-oh. On one Halloween night, Grandma took out a pie from the oven and set it on the windowsill. "I hope that's not pumpkin pie," said Jack. "Remember what happened last year." "It's apple pie," said Grandma. "Pumpkin pies attract nothing but trouble." Jack put 2 plates on the table. Grandma took the warm pie off the windowsill. Something moved in the moonlight. A wisp of fog rose in the pumpkin patch. "Uh-oh," said Grandma. "Listen," said Jack.
He's a little boy.
Yeah, he's a little fraidy cat. What's going on?
Apple, apples, apple pie. I must have one before I die. It must be round and brown as toast, or I'll haunt this house, a hungry ghost. It must be perfect, or a ghost I'll stay and haunt this house and never, ever go away.
I like this one.
Grandma looked at Jack. Jack looked at Grandma. "I'll set another plate," said Jack.